Hello and welcome to CKZ. It's been so long, I forgot the name to our show. Welcome everybody, recording live from KCDI Studios. This is the CKZ show starring me, Kent, and my favorite two co-hosts, the Zach Man and Caitlin. Say what's up, everybody.
Howdy.
What's up?
So how have you guys been? It's been so long.
It has been a long time. So long that we didn't even wait for our whole vacation. We were like, let's do a holiday show. We miss you guys.
We do miss you guys. And you're right, is it a vacation? We never stop. We're always trashing.
It's like that next week will be better, but every week.
We are excited, though. We are coming back January 11th, and we'll be back every Wednesday starting in January for a full season 3, 12 episodes or so.
And why do we pick January 11th?
Why did we pick January 11th?
Because we're a political show, and that's when session starts again.
Absolutely. So we're going to be watching those guys like a hawk to see what's going on.
Yep. Ty Masterson.
You specifically.
Got words for you.
Legislation a lot.
You know, Ty Matterson. We're going to talk a lot about cannabis on the first episode, I believe, coming back and where we're at.
Yeah, we had a viewer request.
We did.
For that topic specifically. And
so we're going hard on the 11th, and Ty Matterson is going to be a large portion of our conversation. He pretty much seems single-handedly to be keeping medical cannabis, recreational cannabis, any cannabis off the ballot in Kansas. So we will be talking a lot about Ty Matterson next season. And so we're excited. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hopping on so quickly to see us on short notice, really, for all of us. We just decided, hey, let's jump on and say what's up to everybody.
Yes, howdy. If you joined us before, thank you for your time and feedback, and welcome if you're new here. Be sure to like and follow, subscribe, share, and let us know your thoughts as we carry on. Preferably in the form of as many comments and reacts to other comments as you can. Facebook always does a major crackdown on visibility during election cycles, especially if your content is politically inclined. So we don't mind if you sad or angry face us either. Send those hate comments our way. If you want to keep seeing us on your timeline, interaction is key. You can also set your notifications to ping you when we go live. Absolutely.
Want to give a shout out to Undercover Smith. Good friend of ours. We haven't seen him on the show in a while. He's a good friend of ours. Moved away from Garden City here not too long ago, so we're excited to see him on the show. And you know, we keep bringing him up. We keep bringing up old Troy, you know. And I
got Troy topics tonight.
We did get some hate
comments.
We got some hate comments from that camp not too long ago. Not to expand on anything.
I forgot about that. I don't know how.
You said that, and that popped into my head when this came up here. You know, it's been kind of wild with Troy.
I'll say Well, basically what happened was we shared a picture of Troy, and there was somebody in that picture, and their husband was upset that they were being shown on our page.
You know, but the person in the photo, I would like to say, has been very public about the things she has said about that case, and is a partner, work partner of Troy Unruh's, and has been involved in a lot of stuff related as well, one would assume. So it was a public photo that was put out at the Kansas, I think it was like a leadership conference, some type of leadership deal. And, in our opinion here at CKZ, Troy Unruh does not belong at such a conference or meeting, especially representing Garden City.
What happens when you lie with dogs? You get fleas.
Yeah.
So if you become associated with fleas, it's because you were laying with somebody that has fleas.
Absolutely.
And
the wolf pack stays together.
Right.
Famous show. Winter is coming, as it is. It's cold outside. How are you guys faring in this winter?
I go out about 6 times a day, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's the wind, man.
Yeah. I think it's just because we're getting older. It just cuts right through you. And we don't have those windbreaker jackets of the 90s. We've been talking about that a lot here lately. Yeah, we did fight the wind awfully hard in the 90s, and we just don't do that now. And it just bring back windbreaker jackets. That's what I'm getting at.
With the cold weather, it is coming just in time for the season, and there are a lot of the season events going on. Kent, what do we got?
Santa Claus, guys. He's going to be everywhere, and he's going to dominate our events portion this week, and we're pretty excited about it. I know I'm excited about it. You can visit Santa Claus at the Windsor Hotel during Christmas time at the Windsor from 2 to 4 p.m. on December 3rd, December 10th, and December 17th. 3 dates, plenty of time, 2 to 4. Admission is $10 per person and includes a meet and greet with both Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Sugar cookie decorating, a hot chocolate bar, and a children's craft will also be included. There's no advance tickets. Admission is at the door. 413 North Main Street. No charge for children 2 years old and younger. Adults pay admission to enter with their children. It's for a good cause. You get to see Santa Claus. There's sugar cookie decorating, hot chocolate bar, so many things to do. December 3rd, December 10th, and 17th from 2 to 4 p.m., 314 North Main. Everybody knows at the Windsor Hotel. Go check it out and meet Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus.
And that's a good cause. You know, we've got to do something with the Windsor. It needs done. We've been talking about it more than my entire life. Mm-hmm. So
it's obviously,
I love seeing them do something to make it happen. They've been working really hard on.
It's important to us, you know.
It is. It's a beautiful building. It's got strong bones, and somebody needs to do something with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we got these Cecils and Sammys and people that got millions and millions of dollars, and they'll spend it all over town, but can't invest in the heritage of this area at all. Drives me nuts.
So, Zach, anyways, if you can't catch Santa at the Windsor, what else can you catch Santa?
Quit being the Grinch, Zach. Talk about Santa.
Santa.
So Santa Claus is also coming to town at Ward's Garden Cafe. He's making a list, checking it twice. Make sure to stop by for pictures and tell him if you've been naughty or nice. Saturday, December 17th from 3 to 5. The event is free, but bring your own phone or camera. They will not be doing any kind of printouts or anything like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can stop by Ward's and grab something to eat. I don't know if you guys have ever eaten at the Ward's Garden Cafe. It's pretty good. Fresh.
Always good. Always good.
You know, and we always like to check out the animals and stuff while we're down there as well. What else is going on? What's for the adults outside of Santa Claus? What can you do without the kids?
Yeah, drop in, come and go, make and take bath salts at Flourish Herbals and Aromatherapy. Drop in and handcraft your own bath salts with our wide selection of salts, herbs, and oils. 8-ounce jars are $8 and 16-ounce jars are $12. And also available during normal store hours, Monday through Friday. I don't know if you guys have ever been in there or if your wives have talked about the store, but I highly recommend to anybody who likes this kind of stuff, bath salts.
No, I was going to ask. I haven't heard of that. Where's it at?
Oils. It's down.
I think it's on Chestnut. I could be wrong.
It's across the street from the old Garden City Telegram, which is the courthouse.
Yes.
Municipal courthouse now.
And
in that area.
Those ladies that run that store are very, very knowledgeable of the products that are there, and they have a lot of the essential oils for your diffusers or your atomizers, and you can build your own scents, and they have neat. Yeah, she has like all of the scents, and so you don't have to like buy a whole thing with scents that are in there that you don't like. You can specifically select things, and then they have one.
Hi, Leo.
Other various fun things, a bunch of books on all of that stuff. What do you call it? Nature.
Right on.
You know, and also while you're down there, I have to mention it, as Michael Nunst from the JUCO painted the side of the courthouse with the butterflies and stuff. So you can stop by and have an opportunity to take a picture with that mural as a butterfly, which is even cooler.
Beautiful.
You know,
but the real question is it a Pokestop yet?
It should be.
Right. That would be great.
I hope they continue that downtown. We get some more murals up there. Keps for Men used to have one that I thought was really awesome. I'd like to see more of those. I think that would really help beautify the area down there and just make it interesting. Yeah. We have a lot of great local artists here. And speaking of artists, also GCHS Drama Department on December 18th at the GCHS Auditorium is hosting a holiday gift wrapping fundraiser.
Yes, the fine art of gift wrapping.
The fine art of gift wrapping. Again, it's December 18th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the GCHS Auditorium, December 18th. Bring your gifts in. Helps raise money for travel for their production of A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder to State. They will perform their show on the main stage in the Century 2 Concert Hall on January 5th. They need help paying for their set, transportation, hotel, and food costs for about 40 students and 11 adults. Let them wrap your holiday gifts for you. Take some of the stress of the holidays out and help send the kids to state. Yeah.
State.
Yeah. To state.
They are so good. I didn't get to see that show, but Marcy's been involved with the drama plays and stuff, and they have basically, like, you can letter in the thespian group, and they have charter meetings and everything, so it's really cool. A lot of that stuff, if you're into theater, can go with you on your transcript and help you in college. So it's like that accreditation
Right on.
at the high school. It's great.
Shout out to my drama teachers, Miss Regier, Mr. Bill,
Right.
Coach Tidwell, all those guys down there. Man, it was such a good time back in high school.
I was like, well, I gotta shout out Mr. Adcock then at Forensics, because
Yeah.
that man changed my life.
Yeah.
What do we got going on a weekend? What if you guys need to go out on a date? Maybe Mr. B-Real needs to do something.
Oh, that sounds fun. Best date night in town. We plan to act like kids this Saturday night, and you're invited. What's the special occasion? Hashtag adult night. If you've never been to an adult night at Parrot Cove Water Park, you're in for a special treat. We'll be putting the kiddos to bed early and letting the hashtag big kids take over the entire water park. Plus, we'll have cold beer and mixed drinks. Must be 21 or older to participate, and the price of admission is only $7. Hashtag act your age at Parrot Cove Water Park in Garden City, Kansas, beginning at 9 until midnight.
Have you guys ever done that?
Going swimming.
No, but I've been there
done the
plenty of
Parrot
times
Cove
with the
thing.
kids.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Really? We went.
Oh man, it's fun.
Yeah, we went for a New Year's celebration the first year it was open, and I gotta say it was so cool. They did a pretty good job, entertaining the kids. But I can't imagine being, a few drinks in and going around that lazy river.
I can.
I get seasick as it is. I'm a land mammal, Kansas boy. Water.
Well, I can tell you who won't be there at this date night. Santa Claus. You know why?
Why?
He's at the library this
yes.
time. Come to the library December 23rd, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Bring your camera and get ready to take pictures with Santa for free.
All right.
If your kids miss Santa this year, you're not doing parenting.
Yeah.
You got so
We
many
let you know where he's at.
The library has lots of cool events coming up from now till the end of December. I think they had like a penguin carving thing today for kids. So definitely jump on their website and check them out and see what's going on. Many of their events are free and a lot of fun as well. So,
well, guys, that's the events. That's what's going on in Garden City. You can't be bored with all that going on, but we got to get to the drama. We got to get to the tea. What's the tea?
So,
Ken's got the tea.
Something is really burning us, and there's a large reason why I wanted to do the show was to come on and talk about this next topic. Last year, Kansas legislation debated on the House floor and the Senate floor and passed legislation to ban protesting at oil spills to prevent things like Standing Rock from happening in Kansas. And ironically, here in the last month, the the Keystone Oil Pipeline that we hear a lot about, political banner on social media, mostly the Keystone XL pipeline that was never completed, constructed.
Which is a different pipeline.
It's a completely different pipeline, but the Keystone Oil Pipeline does run through Kansas and has been responsible for, I think it's 22 leaks in its existence.
Yes.
Because we have so much water to spare.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Kansas,
they
wanted. I was going to say the other pipeline. I think they wanted to get closer to the Ogallala Aquifer, so that.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And that's something to think about when tar sand oil is leaking out of a pipe, especially if it's up next to an open water source or the Ogallala Aquifer. That has ramifications and brutal ones at that on local ecosystems, animals, humans, livestock.
Anybody who went to grade school in Kansas knows where the Ogallala Aquifer is, and it's most of Kansas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that this where this was is also very close to either a minor aquifer or it's a word I'm not thinking of, but it's still some underground water. So
to start out on it, the operator of the Keystone Pipeline System, TC Energy, which carries a form of crude oil, it's tar sand oil, from Canada to multiple states for refining, said over the weekend that its largest breach yet has been contained for now. This is the largest breach in U.S. history of oil, and it's here in Kansas. The pipeline failure 3 miles east of Washington, Kansas, on Wednesday caused an estimated 14,000 barrels of crude, or 55,888,000 gallons, 600,000 gallons of a form of crude known as tar sands oil, to spill into Mill Creek. So it did spill into a creek. It's a natural waterway, according to the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration of the U.S. Transportation Department. The administration has ordered the affected section of the pipeline, about 160 miles north of Wichita, closed until corrective action can be completed. TC Energy, the Canadian parent of day-to-day pipeline oil operator TC Oil, said in a statement Saturday that the spill was no longer moving downstream. It mobilized 250 crews to handle cleanup and has deployed booms and vacuum trucks to stop the oil, the company says. The EPA, yeah.
I don't know why that picture dropped out, but it's very powerful. That is the oil running right into a water source. Mm-hmm. I was, and I don't want to interrupt you, Camp.
No, you're fine.
I'm just remembering all of those Biden stickers on all the gas pumps that said, "Oh, I did that," and but they were saying that he did that because he stopped the Keystone Oil Pipeline, and that clearly it had oil going through it, and clearly it shouldn't be used at all in the first place, and the pipeline existed long before Biden was ever there. It's not his fault. But it drives me nuts that the people that have the power to stop this are the same people pointing at that sticker and going, look, that's Biden's fault. That's Biden's fault. And they won't have a word to say about any of this.
Well, and we do need to, the fact of the matter is this pipeline was put in, I think it was the first Bush that was in office, and he okayed for this pipeline to operate at higher pressure than normal pipelines. And it has operated that way ever since, and it's ridiculous. It needs to be relooked at. They shouldn't be pushing oil
because
through
Bush has
3
always
times. I think it's 3 times higher than what is recommended for that pipeline is where they were operating at to begin with. So they are saying that no drinking water has been impacted, which is a lie.
That's bullshit.
It has. That Mill Creek does supply plenty of water sources, not only for humans but livestock. Which is crazy to think. And oil travels fast. Water travels fast. It's not made to sit. It's going to move in the water. So this failure along a 96-mile segment in parts of Washington County, Kansas, Clay County, Kansas, and Jefferson County, Nebraska, a very large area, renews concern over pipeline safety after the demise of the contentious Keystone XL pipeline. The proposed pipeline, which would have carried Canadian oil's sands to Nebraska, polarized political leaders who mostly lined up to either kill it or make way. It was thwarted by the Obama administration, renewed by President Trump, and nixed by President Joe Biden. TC Energy withdrew its plans last year, so it's done. They're never going to do it again. People are arguing about it, to turn it on, to build it, to whatever, but the company doesn't even want to do it anymore. In the last 5 years, there have been at least 3 significant spills along the original Keystone pipeline system, Wednesday's being the most venomous. And that...
Voluminous.
The most. Yeah, venomous, voluminous. It's all bad, right?
Reminder, we are not professionals.
We are not professionals. No, we did not go to college for journalism.
Sorry to interrupt, and if you have this in here somewhere, but it spilled because they were checking it out. So they were going to do maintenance or these routine observances, and so they touched it and it broke. So they're clearly not doing those maintenances enough.
There's all the money to get it built, none of the money to maintain it as long as it's flowing through.
Infrastructure in the U.S. for you.
Drill, baby, drill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's, they're asking for TC Oil to determine the root cause of this, but this thing is leaked 22 times. Pipelines leak. They're not safe. There's no such thing as safe transportation of tar sand oil through a pipeline above ground. It's just not going to happen.
And I bet you all those senators like Ty Masterson have oil money that leaks right into their coffers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just crazy. I can't believe, and people aren't talking about it. It was
the
W.
Kansas
Bush,
City Star did a fluff piece for the oil company, and people were mad about it, calling it out, and so the news is playing cover for the oil. The politicians that accepted the money are dead quiet about it, and they're going to do a cleanup, and they're going to assess that everything was fine and no water sources were affected. And meanwhile, it's just going to happen again. We don't care about this environment anymore. We don't have administrators. I haven't heard a word from Laura Kelly about it. Have you guys?
No, and there have been a lot of articles. There's pretty much an update every couple of days.
We're used to hearing about oil leaks from tankers and whatnot, but we're landlocked. That's not a problem Kansas is supposed to be dealing with.
Right.
We got enough water problems without leaking oil into it. The Standing Rock people were right all along. That's why they were freaking out. That was their water. They wanted to build that over. And Kansas said, "Oh, you got money? Okay. We're desperate for money.
Yeah.
We're not doing that marijuana.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. That brings in millions and millions of revenue. But we'll take that dirty oil money all day long." Well, it's like they're always chasing after the worst way to make money.
And they've limited people's free speech on the matter pretty much as well. 'Cause you're not allowed to protest.
Did you say when that was? When they did that? I don't even just. What did you figure out the year?
What was that? No, it was last year when that.
Oh God!
Is that what you're asking?
So was this just who voted on that? Like who got to say?
I don't know. I feel horrible. I didn't research this out more.
We'll bring this up again.
For us, there's going to be plenty more for us to talk about. It's just. I don't know. It's so hard. I can't believe, just the tone of it and how people aren't talking about and how much of a bigger deal this is. What do we do with the cleanup? Undercover Brother here talked about it. He says, what do they do with contaminated earth? They just scrape it up and throw it in a landfill. It doesn't just go away. This oil spill.
Right.
It smells awful. If you read articles on it from locals, it's about a 12-mile radius that you can smell this from, so that the community's affected, anybody in that area. And it is all about the money. They're not talking about it because of, everything that Zach said, political lobbyists and the big oil companies. And, we can't have that. But the price of gas did raise, I think, 5%, since this happened. So it is affecting us at the pump. It's affecting us environmentally. Then it begs the question, should they be allowed to run that pipe at 3 times the level that's federally recommended? They say it has to be at 80% before they can restart it. But what's that mean? They tighten up a few bolts, make a few welds,
you've got
and
here the
they
oil
throw this
spill.
back up. Go ahead.
As the company was conducting an analysis of the conveyance nearby by using an inline inspection tool. So they sent it down the chute, and it was downstream of the failure location. Respondent had bypassed the Hope, Kansas pump station, the next station downstream, in preparation for the tool to pass when the failure occurred. Any possible cause and effect relationship wasn't clear. The letter also suggests the failure involved failed pipe joints.
Yeah,
what are you going to do? Stall the flow of oil to do this maintenance stuff?
They don't, and that's the problem. And they're not inspecting it, and that's the problem. And they should be held to a higher standard than what they are.
And because, heaven forbid, they might have to stop it in order to inspect it, in order to do maintenance on it, just like you do any other piece of equipment, any other machine. Mm-hmm. But that costs money, and they probably have a ticker that every time that flow stops, they know exactly how much money they're losing over it and whatnot. And I love the fact that it was George Bush that gave them the special permission to run it at high pressure, because he's excellent at making judgment of high pressure situations. Iraq.
Yeah, man.
It's mind-boggling. We'll continue to follow it and see any developments. Maybe we'll give an update on how cleanup's going on back come January. But it's definitely something significant, especially in Kansas. I cannot believe we have an oil leak in Kansas.
I can. I knew this was close and was going to be happening. It's inevitable with these things, and we need to do a better job for our environment, for our future, for fossil fuels. We're not wasting them. And where they're allowed to put these things. There's that photo. I'm going to try to bring it up again here. Right there. This thing was not very far from a creek that feeds animals, wildlife,
and all
livestock, all sorts of different things. And it does downstream feed local drinking water. So that oil is going to get down there. You can't tell me they're 100% contained.
Right. Yeah. Is there any final thoughts on that? All right. Well, it's been a little while since we've had one, but let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, I'm going to do some screen sharing on this one. It is mind-boggling that we have so much money being just completely mismanaged in our community. It never fails. It gets worse and worse. I haven't shared it. Here we go.
It's incredible.
So, the Starbond project. You guys remember that? Back in 2014, we all had to vote as to whether or not we were going to add an extra 1% tax to the new shopping center, the Parrot Cove, that whole new area on that east end of town. And the idea was, well, not all of Garden City will have to pay for it because everybody from out of town comes to shop here and they'll have to pay for it. Great. Okay, fine. I personally voted against it because it was supposed to sunset after 5 years. And I was like, no, taxes like that don't sunset. They'll find another reason to keep it. And our taxes are already nearly 10%. Everybody argued with me at the time. I was the bad guy. I didn't want new things. And I was like, no, let's just save the money for it and then pay for it like any other city would. But we don't need to be adding new taxes to ourselves when we already overburden the grocery store bill so much. And this is long before Laura Kelly was talking about axing the tax on groceries and whatnot. Right. So anyway, the project ended up raising... Okay, so let me touch back. We were supposed to get a new vet center for the zoo. We were supposed to get a new gun range. We were supposed to get a new stoplight at the Mary and Kansas intersection. And we were supposed to get this giant sports complex. Let's recap what we got. Almost immediately, what did we get, guys?
Gun range.
The fucking gun range. Built perfect to spec. It's running. They're always advertising what they're doing out there, gun training sessions and open shooting, ladies' night, and whatever the fuck. If you're an homosexual, I'm sorry if I offend you. It's just not my thing. And I'm glad that that was our primary fucking objective, but Lottie fucking da. The zoo thing, I don't remember exactly what the cuts were that they made for it, but it was not near what it was supposed to be, and it was definitely rushed. What did we get for the stoplight? A 4-way stop that nobody knows how to use. They put it up there, and they were like, hey, this is going to be temporary, and we're going to get that stoplight up ASAP. And to this day, if you go there, what happens? There's Everybody's 4 people confused. Sitting there, and nobody has any idea what to do because it's 2 lanes.
I was going to say, it's more than 4.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get us our damn stoplight. That's an actual safety issue.
It is.
It should have been priority over the gun range. It should have been. Okay,
but
so
I wonder how much KDOT has to do with that as well. Since it's
also, is the city not a part of making sure... Or is that what?
Well, I wonder if we funded it.
I tried to find articles about the stoplight. I can't find anything about the stoplight.
Well,
I don't know anything about it.
That's why we exist. It's because we don't have any journalism out here, and we don't get paid enough. So I think it's a good time to mention. I'm sorry to cut you off. Buy me a coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/CKZ show. Please stop by, check it out. Buy us a coffee, a drink. Help us, keep this show going so we can do more in-depth type reporting for you guys and bring you the real deal of what's going around Garden City.
Sorry, I did not mean to leave my paper up there.
We need to request from the state for various different reporting as well, so that's a good...
Yeah, absolutely.
A good thing to have help with.
So anything you can do, we'd appreciate it. Buymeacoffee.com/CKZ show.
So, back to this Star Bond. The biggest thing on there was the sports complex. This sports complex was supposed to have 2 indoor soccer fields, 2 full-size ones, 6 partial, an indoor basketball courts, trampoline park. I'm sure all this means a lot to you, Kent, because you're a big sports guy. Yeah. It's not my thing.
We want a trampoline park.
I mean, I would love a trampoline park. Things like this make me nervous because we struggle to employ good help in Garden City because we struggle to pay people and offer them affordable housing, and so I don't see how a place like this could be run safely, but I would love to be proven wrong on that. Mm-hmm. But in order for us to be able to have a sports complex and discuss its safety, it has to exist. Have you guys noticed a sports complex? It was 2014, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Greg Harrell says it'll be spring before they get started on it. I think that's what they always say. It's going to be spring,
and that's the thing.
I've seen them do dirt work out there twice now. I think it's the same dirt work this second time around because it was 2 years or so the last time that they did dirt work out there. So yeah, whatever.
Well, they couldn't pay for it for a minute, right?
Well, there's not affordable housing in Garden City.
In 2019, the $25 million that they needed for it, well, they ended up raising $29.5 million for it. They have the money, and they've been giving that money to the contractors, and they finally stopped at one point. Let me switch my slide here because it's going to infuriate you guys. Wait till I show you. Everybody knows what's coming. All right. So that was in 2019 that they said that they had the money, and that was the last word we heard about it. In 2020, HPPR, which thank goodness we have some semblance of a news source that occasionally does a decent article for us, so I could at least find something to talk about it. This whole thing was brought to a halt because Sammy and Cecil had a fight. Supposedly, this fight was over $75,000. I've heard as much as $10 million. But in this specific article, they say that they're fighting over $75,000, and that just seems silly to me because Cecil sneezes $75 every morning. That man's worth billions, so I don't know why he would even give a damn.
Greg says that the stoplight is what's coming this spring, so maybe we do have something to hope for.
I hope you're right, Greg. I don't believe you, but I hope you're right.
Me too.
I don't believe you out of negativity towards you.
Right.
I'm cynical about things like that.
That's such an incredibly
So this money has been held until these attorneys figure it out. We've temporarily suspended reimbursement on the project until we get some word otherwise from the two parties of the GC Investments Inc. and through their attorneys. And that's what Matt Allen, the city developer, was saying. This Western Kansas, Cecil Albright filed a lawsuit against Sammy and his construction company American Warrior because unauthorized payments were being made. So all of this is tied to these two, and I don't know how they were going to make money off of it outside of building it, but clearly they had a lot to be gained from it and them fighting over it. Even Laura Kelly came down and visited with Finney County Economic Development about it, and now that it all went to shit, they don't want to talk about it anymore. Nobody's discussing what they're going to do with this money or when they're going to start building on it. We put out $6.6 million in disbursements on this already. That's $6.6 million that went to American Warrior Construction, and then they're going to say, well, we don't have that money anymore, and there's going to be a whole lawsuit over it. But here's the kicker. Here's why I had to talk about this. Back in 2020, Garden City Mayor Troy Unruh said he was unaware the project had been suspended.
No.
Are you
not
kidding
Troy?
me?
No.
Troy didn't know what happened to some funds? He goes on to say the city does hold the funds for the Starbond district, and they can only be release them based upon review and approved expenditures. So I do think we have a good oversight in place. Troy Unruh thinks that we have great oversight in place of $30 million, and we're not talking about that money anymore. Please, for the love of God, please sell me that bridge. Because I ain't buying it. Where's the money?
Well, it's all tied
Where's
up.
the money, Lebowski?
It's tied up in legislation, or and it's gonna not legislation.
No,
but
we're almost
litigation.
to 2023, and that's 3 years since the last article about it, and we haven't had a single word about from any of our leadership.
If that complex ever gets built, it's gonna be in 5 or 6 years before they begin on it. But I don't think the money's gonna be there. It's gonna be all gone. Where is that money? Why isn't it tied up in some kind of investment scheme to help pay for itself? What are we doing? What are we doing with this star bond, and why do they keep continuing to get tax cuts and breaks?
All I know
on it
is I am vindicated on voting no on that, and all of you guys that chewed me out for it, shame on you. I want my money back.
I still want the project. I think it's what it was supposed to be, and what it will be if it ever does get built will be huge for this area and this community. But the way it's
I'm
calmed
over
down.
here looking through Finney County documents. I'll find those answers, man.
Yeah, we hear you clicking. She's on a
I was
mission.
like, I'm trying to do some keyword searches, but that's not working on the computer right now. So
it's
we'll
just
figure that out.
Yeah, it's just sad to me that such a positive thing for everybody in this community is gone so negative. And it's costly, and it's very costly. And if it never does, I think that they voted on it to keep it going, just so nobody gets upset that our money's gone, because we're not going to get that money back when that project.
They asked the project manager about it, and he said that they've had delayed projects before, but not due to a legal dispute. He said, I can't think of a circumstance that's identical to this one, but definitely there have been other projects that have had delays. In past cases, he said, either there's difficulty getting financing, or one of the component developers might have backed out of the project. But we're in uncharted territory here.
Mm-hmm. And Greg asks, what about the old Sears building? It's privately owned.
Those landlords, as somebody who worked in the mall at a couple different locations,
they're creepy.
Back in the day, when it was still pretty hoppin' before the other stores, it was very frustrating. The rent is very expensive, of course. If we were always doing maintenance on our own store, even though that was because they were from Texas or New York or somewhere impossible. Okay, Florida makes sense. And sure. So they were supposed to have somebody, who could manage those. Basically, they're the worst landlords, and It does not surprise me that stores are in and out of there all the time.
And they refuse to sell it.
If you're a consumer and you go out there and they happen to be there, which they have been quite a bit recently, they will bug you to open up a store in one of their locations there. But it's the price is astronomical for what it is now compared to the new shopping center. That is the draw now. It's lost its lackluster. It's lackluster. The parking lot is miserable out there. All of the buildings are run down and dilapidated.
They used to. That was another thing. When it would snow and the scrapers would just tear up the parking lot, and then they would temporarily have these giant mounds. They wouldn't really fix the potholes. They would just add more mounds so that people would stop driving in certain areas, and then the freaking truck would come over and scrape it away. There are plants full on grass growing on this parking lot.
I say the old Sears building, much like the Great Pumpkin, arrives once a year as Spirit Halloween.
Yep.
Fades into the distance like Bagger Vance.
I don't know.
Never to be seen again.
A huge opportunity there for an alley in Wichita, some type of bowling alley, arcade, bar, go-karts, indoor go-karts, something, to that nature, inside of that building.
We can't even get the sports complex we paid for.
Well, that's why we got to quit trusting, one person to handle all of our financial needs and whims here in Garden City. And, it's a lesson
city
that
managers are just the worst.
I don't know. Matt Allen, I have to say, has done a lot of good for Garden City in his tenure. Some of the stuff has been pretty, But overall, I have to give him an A.
In all of the
I don't know about an A.
been there, he has not gotten one bucket of paint for the Windsor. Nothing.
Well, as somebody who's also been on that project, that stuff, you can go round and round in those meetings asking for support and
the
Capicola they started.
If I have learned anything is with this sports complex thing is we can find money when we can motivate ourselves to want it in this city. Sports
didn't we talk about this
people.
On another episode? They were the renovations that were allowed in there was a company from out of state who went in and did a bunch of structural stuff, messed it up worse than it was sitting.
Same with the guy that painted the Capicola on top, but it's half. He painted it the wrong color. Wasn't an approved
is our
color.
City not poorly managed then?
Most of this isn't the city though. It's they have the Finney County Preservation Alliance is what oversees the Windsor.
Right. But as a city manager in that dilapidated building in your city, you do manage it. And the area and the property, just like you're in charge of making sure that the Christmas lights go downtown and get all over Stevens Park, just like you're in charge of adding 2 bike lanes to Campus Street. I'm just saying.
Greg is telling us that the city has signed off on a $7 or $8 million loan for the Sears building, which I had forgotten about. I do remember seeing that in a meeting. They're going to convert it into a bunch of smaller shops. Or something
like a marketplace,
or maybe like a flea market. I don't know.
What they were gonna do in Windsor?
It's gonna film maybe so. I don't know.
And our city is
twice the amount that it would have cost back when I was trying to help with funding it to remodel.
Yeah, it's just insane. So what? And you do make a valid point because there are things like our rec commission. They're buying shirts from a company out of Colorado. They're not using the local print shops here, and there's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of them. They do outsource a lot of jobs at the city that could be done by people here in our own community
who need a living wage,
which goes
a place
back
to live
into our community. I think that whole mall where Sears is at should be demolished, and that's where our affordable housing should be. It would help the JUCO.
Or
I'd vote for that.
The Windsor could be affordable housing.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of downtowns do that. A lot of colleges.
You force the college kids down there. Coffee shops pop up. Restaurants pop up.
Right. If you want a life downtown, put the young people there. Hello.
Yeah, and that would be the smartest thing for Garden City to do, I think, as well. If we want to save our downtown, is to get the JUCO involved. And and renovate it for that type of nightlife.
The attitude towards it just needs to change, and that needs to be a motivating factor.
Yeah,
that's 80,000 out of our local print.
Oh, that's a very low number, my friend.
Yeah, that's. Maybe in a quarter.
Maybe just the rec commission could be. I think it's a lot more though. There's also like vehicle wraps for the police department and the sheriff's department. There's just all sorts of different things.
Oh yeah.
Uniforms, cleaning. Lots of things get outsourced to other companies outside of Garden City that we have
blueprints and
qualified.
Planning
we may be a little bit more expensive.
Shipping, and then what are you going to do when you get an order wrong and you can't go see the person that you're...
Yeah, so, I think we could do a lot better of a job supporting our community. But I do like Matt Allen. I think he's done, compared to what we've had before, he's not so bad.
I just would love to see a lot more transparency and truth come from our city officials. I do not find any confidence in Troy Unner being the manager, being the mayor at the time. I know they say the mayorship is just a kind of like being king. It doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
But Matt Allen or Troy Hunter being involved with the city for that long is nerve-wracking. I would love to see an audit of everything and know that it's being managed well, and I would love to see that audit done by an outside source that has nothing to do with Garden City and has no skin in the game. Prove to me that man isn't screwing us over, because I don't believe him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, it's been wonderful. We're so happy to be back and to see your wonderful faces, beautiful faces, happy faces. We'll be back again January 11th when the session begins for the Kansas House, State, and Senate to bring you updates on local news, rumors, entertainment. We'll try to get more in depth with it. Again, this is just three friends getting together to talk about the world as they see it politically. Intimate conversations that people don't like to have outside of their circles. So
Caitlin had a subject already, but I think it's a little bit bigger than tonight's show.
It is.
You want to give a little sample what you want to talk about next time, Caitlin?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to focus on mental health in our state. I know that we've touched on this topic regarding a newish study. So back in October, Kansas ranks last in nation in accessing mental health resources, but they also have a statistic on the rate in which people need that mental health. So we have the least amount of resources with the most amount of mental health needs in our state.
That makes sense.
So it caught my attention again because there's an article from back in August, but Kansas's shortage of mental health hospital beds a factor in violence against workers. So there was an incident. Sometimes there are incidents in these fields where patients are all together and they become overpopulated very easily. There's, because of deinstitutionalization, a lot of things were closed down, and the needs for patients that existed and on the rise were never met. And so not only do we not have enough beds, but even if we had enough beds, we wouldn't have enough hospital workers in order to make sure that everybody was safe. So Sedgwick County requested an appropriation of $40 million from the legislature, and Kelly recommended the state budget to include $15 million to support projects. So I think there has been some federal money thrown our way for mental health in particular, and so I will be investigating where that money went exactly, because we seem to have an influx of things without any receipts for where it goes.
Definitely something that needs some real journalists to dive into. Unfortunately, there's us, but I really look forward to your work on it.
I mean, it's a good time to bring it up as well with the holidays. People get so stressed out about money and gifts and family and friends, and the list just goes on and on. So many things compile this time of year, the cold weather.
Yeah, the way that consumerism is shoved in our face, and it's a lot of anxiety about the capitalism during the holidays. But check on your friends, guys.
And remember, it is a time of holiday, but it's also a time to know that you don't have to put yourself into bankruptcy or go broke for this holiday. It's not necessary. Nobody's asking you to. If you sign your name on a piece of paper and you hand that to me and you tell me that's all you can give me for Christmas, I'm going to appreciate that more than a PlayStation 5, because you took that moment just to think about me, to give me a gift. And I think a lot of people feel that same sentiment across the board. So
yeah, I saw something today about remember, like, if all you receive or all you're able to give is something like a $20 gift or little knickknacks that you're giving, just to think of somebody, like, if you can imagine that person worked for 2 weeks, like, that's worth 2 weeks of their labor. for you to have that gift. So,
yeah.
And let's keep in mind that we do have a new hotline out there, the 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline. If the holidays have you at the point where you need somebody to talk to, please dial the number. They're there. They are professionals. That is what it's for. And this is one of the highest times of year for suicide. So, absolutely, please.
Yeah,
get help if you
I
need
don't know if anybody knows who Twitch is. A choreographer, dancer from back in the So You Think You Can Dance days was reported today that he died by a successful suicide, and that's hard.
It is. And I think our good friend Tessa Romero Blood would want us to remind everybody right now that you are loved. Dial that number if you need it. Message a friend. Message us.
Yeah.
We'd be happy. We're not professionals at all, but we, would be happy to listen to you or buy you a coffee if you need something this holiday season. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week for this show. We'll be back January 11th.
It's going to be wild.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. We hope you find Santa Claus around town. He's everywhere.
Hey, I was like, if you find Santa, shoot us a picture.
Yeah.
Page.
Yeah,
Santa
absolutely.
pictures would be awesome.
Yeah, Donde Este Santa Claus? This is one of my favorite songs, so I have to put that in there. Where is Santa Claus? He's everywhere in Garden City this year. So check him out. We will see you guys January 11th. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Adios.
Well. Yeah, test. Better. We'll take a minute to envision it, in the vision we're ripping from a difference of opinion, inquisitive, isn't it? When the picture in the mirror isn't shit, but give it a minute, fix this image and hit the bricks with the viciousness. But don't play, cause one day you'll be saying, you shoulda, coulda, woulda, but my shit it just wouldn't drop, cause you wouldn't have, but you're so worried, it was your world. And when you hit them with the rhymes, they had no words. Just come back to the flip of the tongue fun that you once had and chuck it like a beer and crush that. Go shave your mustache and write it down, cut that, and so much rap again. Oh, I'm getting tired of that. I don't know anymore what they call that. Getting so you know that something's missing. Let's go show 'em what rap is again. Like taking a step out of your front door for the first time and you want more of the sunshine, but you've been locked away, forgetting you don't care. Listen, it's not part of the mission. Just say what you got to say. Whether it makes sense, just a bunch of gibberish, bit from the hip, slipping so soft, but splitting your lip. You get a grip, cause as good as your shit is, you know it really isn't a big deal. Cause it'll turn heads bound too. It's your purpose, round two. But you gotta open your eyes and realize it's right here. To open your mind, you gotta try to fight fear and find a light bright enough to ignite and excite peers. But get their attention, I find. You gotta give them a big boom. You're the fuel, and I got my lighter right here. Oh, I'm getting tired of that. I don't know anymore what they call that. Getting so you know that something's missing. Let's go show 'em what rap is again.